Water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. This is your general collective tarot reading for February 2026. What I'm going to do is pull a 9-card spread for you guys, 3 cards for your past energies, 3 cards for your current energies, and 3 cards for the incoming energies for February 2026. I'm going to start off with Cancer, then we'll move to Scorpio, and then Pisces. There will be timestamps below, so if you don't want to watch the whole video, you can switch ahead to your zodiac timestamp and take and pick up from there. So Cancer, let's see. 3 cards for your past. Cancer, February 2026. What do we got here? We got the Ace of Cups in reverse, flanked by the 2 of Wands, and also the 9 of Pentacles. In your current energies, we have the 7 of Wands in the reverse, Queen of Cups in the upright, and 2 of Cups in the reverse. In your current energies and incoming energies, we have the Knight of Wands in the upright, flanked by the Page of Swords in the upright, and also the 10 of Wands in the upright closes out the month. In your conscious energies that you bring to the table that you're probably aware of, we have the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. That's a feeling of constricting. It's not necessarily bad, but it is not expansive. So you're in conservation mode, at least consciously. And from the bottom of the deck, the subconscious energy is the Sun in reverse. That may be energy that you are bringing to the table that you're not aware of. It's always still a good card, but it's a card of there is some nostalgia, some it's happiness, but there's nostalgia. And because in your conscious self is that 4 of Pentacles in the reverse, which is closing in a little bit, it might be that you are just taking a breather. Kind of looks like just taking a breather, not necessarily bad, but not, if you are an extrovert by nature, you might be toning it down a little bit. You might be in a bit of a homebody phase of your extrovert nature. Let's just leave it there for a moment. We'll look at your recent past here. We've got the Ace of Cups in the reverse, flanked by the 2 of Wands. That's a plan. And also flanked by the 9 of Pentacles. Okay, so you got a plan. You have part of you is active planning, or was active planning, because we're looking at your recent past here. So you thought you had it, a plan was coming together. What was that? A-team. I love it when a plan comes together. Something along those lines. You had an impulse to act in a way that you were considering. And it looks like your heart space has got a pause here, and that pause looks like it is possibly connected to your sense of material well-being and material independence. So there's an opportunity for love, an opportunity for expansion, and I think even really actually the want, the drive, the curiosity, the impulse. And you're aware of it, right? But there's a hesitation here, and the hesitation looks to be practical, so that's cool. Okay, moving into your current energies, we have the 7 of Wands in the reverse in the center of the deck. Again, this is caution. I've got caution. What about the past? Protection. But the 7 of Wands in the reverse is how do I put it? In the upright, you're protecting. You've got your 6 of Wands here, and there's another ace coming in, and so it's an opportunity to expand. It's still underway, but in the reverse, you still have the same opportunity to expand, but you're sort of instead of being cautious, you're instead of sourcing that caution from a sense of abundance, like I've got enough, I don't need more. It's more of I would like to, but I don't feel confident enough. Um, it's attached to the Queen of Cups, so the heart is still open, but it's also attached to the Two of Cups in reverse. So again, there's it looks like I'm looking at a connection here for you guys. For some of the Cancers, it's going to be different for everybody, but this looks like a connection of some sort that you are at this point making no firm decisions on it because you don't quite feel comfortable. I don't want to say it's not like you'd feel unsafe, but you're not quite feeling comfortable. And so from a resource perspective, from your pentacle perspective, you're closing down. Your heart is still trying to stay open, but at least in the present, your heart is open. So there's no lack of affection or love or affinity or anything like that. But there is a sense of hold, hold, hold down. Okay, so on your incoming energies, we have the Knight of Wands. So that's coming in. That's action. So this is going to move. In your past, it was a stop. In your present, it was a halt. And in your future, you are going to move. It looks like attached to that Knight of Wands, we have, so you go from the Two of Wands to the Knight of Wands through this little story here, this narrative. And you do have the Page of Wands, or Page of Swords, pardon me, attached to it. So it looks like some new information, perhaps a new, not a whole new perspective, but enough information to tilt your orbit to make you feel a little bit more comfortable. And you are going to make some movement. And actually, I think what you're going to do is make a, what's coming in is movement in the direction of releasing some competing obligations, some competing vectors for your energy and your focus. Some of those are going to be dropped, probably in favor of this new information. Because that Knight of Wands is going to be moving. And that breaks that feeling of constraint. And in the best way, moving in the best way, moving forward, putting down obligations that have run their course. That's really good. I'm gonna clarify that 10 of Wands here, though. Let's get a little bit more information because it could be moving house for some of you as well. Let's see. We got the Three of Pentacles, cooperation up in the upright. Ooh, 10 of Swords reversed. That's the feeling of an end of rumination, and also kind of an end of suffering. So I get the feeling for some of you, this is really an internal process, even though there are more than one energy on the table, and this is affecting another party for sure. I think the process for you this month is internal. You have these options on the table, and obviously an option to expand. You wouldn't be closing in. You wouldn't be huddled down, turtling. That's the word I'm looking for. You wouldn't be turtling if there wasn't an opportunity to expand, but you want to take it because it's a good one. And you're going to get a little bit more information that's going to give you a little bit more confidence. I don't think by the end of the month you're actually going to be fully confident. I don't see the Queen of Wands here, but we do have the Knight. So even though you might not be feeling 100% confident, it looks to me like you are going to be moving forward to release yourself from some of these burdens that are making you feel threatened, and not threatened physically, but threatened with your resources and your independence, and maybe a little bit feeling of loss of loss of that freedom. For some of you might be moving in with someone or making a very specific commitment, but in order to make that commitment, you are going to be rearranging your pentacles so that you can afford it. Yeah, and I'll pull one more card here. Oh, we close out with the Knight of Cups again, and it's the Knight of Cups bearing roses. So I think yeah, we got the Knight of Wands on the table. We got the Knight of Cups on the table. We got the two queens. Actually, we got all three queens here. One, two. No, we got the two queens of Queen of Pentacles and the Queens of Cups on the table. So you're taking care of yourself before you take care of others. But I do see you heading in that direction. So cheers. Hope it works out. And that's what I got for you. Now we will move on to our Scorpios. So Scorpio, this is your general collective reading for February 2026. Again, that's three cards for your recent past. Maybe an event that actually happened in your recent past. Maybe an event that happened a really long time ago, but you've been recently triggered. Three cards for your current energies. What you're bringing to the table in February 2026, and three cards for the incoming energies, future-oriented energies. I'll also pull one card for your energy on the table that you're aware of, your conscious energy, and another card from the bottom of the deck that will show me your subconscious energy. This is the energy you have on the table, but you may not be aware of it. So three cards, Scorpio, for your recent past. We have the Eight of Cups in the upright, flanked by the Knight of Swords in reverse, and also the Seven of Swords in the upright. Ooh, okay. Interesting. In your current energies, we have the Queen of Wands in the upright, the High Priestess reversed. You are conflicted. And the Seven of Cups in the reverse. You are conflicted. You are not sure what you're confident. You're confident. No shortage of confidence here. And there's also a fair bit of action on the table, but I don't think you have the whole thing sorted out internally quite yet. So Scorpio, what are you up to? And in the incoming energies, good. Queen of Pentacles, we get some grounding energy there, flanked by the Five of Pentacles in the reverse, also nice. But you close out on the Ace of Cups in the reverse. So your opening energy is the Knight of Swords in the reverse, and you're closing out on the Eight of Cups in the reverse. Don't have a lot of majors on the table, so it looks like really the only major I have on the table at this point is the High Priestess in the reverse. Conscious energy, Knight of Cups in the reverse. And subconscious energy, that's where you're conflicted, is that Six of Cups in the upright. All right, so your conscious energy is with regard to relationships and your emotions and what you're prepared to invest in them, is a pullback. Consciously, there's a pullback, an emotional pullback, an emotional investment pullback. Subconsciously, there is the Six of Cups in the reverse. This is a beautiful, in this case, because it's subconscious, I'm going to call this a memory. Sometimes it can even be soul tribe. But you're walking away or you're pulling away from somebody that was either family, soul family, real family, could be a romantic relationship, but it's certainly a heart space relationship that meant something very deeply to you. So it's an important heart space relationship that you are pulling back from. So let's look into your past, at least pulling back your investment, your emotional investment. I don't actually see any kind of break here, in your current energies, but looking into your recent past, we have that 8 of Cups in the upright. That's repeating again. It's a emotional disconnect, but it's upright. So the emotional disconnect is about wanting more. So it's not like it's not leaving behind. You can see this fellow is off on a quest to find the meaning of life. And he has 8 beautiful cups there, all standing. So he's not walking away from a train wreck. Although I think there have been words, because attached to that is the Knight of Swords in the reverse. That's an argument at the very least. It could be chaos. It's mental chaos, mental disruption. Can sometimes just be a lot of arguing. It can sometimes be worse than that, but I would say that there has been a rupture of some sort. You have exited, but cleanly inside yourself. There's an emotional pullback. Okay, I'm going to go and explore. And then you're hit immediately with a 7 of Wands in the upright. I think what we have here is it's sort of like a argument happens, your emotional construct is trying to expand, but you're past capacity. So this argument is still open. So that past that you walked away from emotionally to investigate more, not necessarily physically walked out any doors, although for some of you would have, but at least heart space, you didn't get very far. You didn't get very far. There's boundaries here, either yours or someone else's, and there's caution. Okay, going into your current energies, that Queen of Wands, so you're feeling good. You gain some confidence. You may not have gotten completely extracted from this, but the exercise itself, your confidence is gaining, is increasing. That being said, attached to it is the High Priestess in the reverse. So there is some, again, I go back to some sort of internal argument, internal machinations going on. Your subconscious energy is, oh, but I was really happy there. And your conscious energy is, but this can't continue the way it's going to continue. There is intuition on the table, but it's not clear. And it's not clear, which may have something to do with confidence. I keep seeing confidence again, because attached to that Queen of Wands, we also have the 7 of Cups in the reverse. So the sevens are all about transformation. And on this table right now, we have transformation and due to limitation, boundaries, vector, urges and available options of which direction to go. And then we also have closing down some of these cups. Sometimes that's actually making a choice. And for some of you, you will be maybe making the hard choice to actually vamoose longer term. But for many of you, I think what I'm looking at here is in the present, you may be making a choice, but it may not be one that holds, because you're not making that choice from an empowered position. You think you are. Your Queen of Wands is in charge, but is she? Is she? You got a higher operating system, your intuition, which is a higher operating architecture than the Queen of Wands, who is actually, it could almost be bravado here because your intuition is not on board and you are sourcing your future options from a limiting perspective instead of an expansive perspective. It's like you're choosing the lesser of seven evils. You want more, but you're settling. You want more, but you're settling. This is why she's not getting on board. She's saying, if you settle, Scorpio, you're just going to be right back here. And Scorpio is saying, oh, but I can do it. And you can, absolutely. But I don't think it's going to hold if you do. So incoming energies, we have the Queen of Pentacles in the upright. This is great because after all of this, you're going to need a break. And it looks like that you're going to have the opportunity, a nice, safe, placid place to sit down and regroup, to take stock. You can see she's got this pentacle. Take stock of your situation. You're going to get an opportunity to do that because I think some of the pressure of this relationship that you have removed yourself from is waning. So some of the pressure is going to be taken off, but I still see you closing out the month with a heart space. No, I can't see the other energy here unless it. Yeah, I think it's a conflict within you. For some of you, there will be a conflict between people, between two parties, one of which is very confident, possibly overconfident, and just wants to move forward, whereas the other one is more practical. And the practical one is obviously not going to accept any threat to their stability. But the impractical one may well, the impractical one, I don't want to say impractical because you're not charging ahead, but the less practical one, the one that is more focused on movement, they are being forced to pause as well. This looks like a relationship in pause. Sorry, Scorpio, I'm going to get a couple cards for you. Let's get some advice. Let's ask about the Queen of Wands, because in the center of the deck, that's you, and you're feeling good. We want to keep that, but the problem isn't so much how you're feeling. The problem is actually the structure, where it's coming from, because I'm not sure you're seeing everything quite as clearly as Auntie Cindy wants you to see it. I don't want you to get yourself in trouble here. Okay, so that Queen of Wands is in the upright, and it is clarified by the Hermit in reverse. The King of Wands, so okay, authorization has been, is coming. Ooh, and Death. Okay, you've thought about it. You're going to take the action, and it is going to be the end of something. For some of you, it will be the end of a relationship. And it was one that you will remember for quite some time as being positive until it wasn't. And for others of you, it's going to be a big change. So that's what I got for you. Hope this helped. By the end of the month, there's going to be some changes. And I guess the best that I can say is, at looking at these cards, the Scorpio collective that I'm looking at, the Scorpio party side of the equation looks like they're actually going to be okay with it. The other side of the equation, I think, is going to be okay with it too, but they're going to feel it a bit more at the start. And the Scorpio I'm looking at is going to make these decisions most likely. And I don't think they're necessarily the wrong decision, but the consequences, the feelings, the consequences are going to come a little bit down the road. So we might see that. We might see the aftermath of February 2026 for Scorpios in March or April. Okay, move it on to Pisces. Pisces, 3 cards for your recent past, 3 cards for your current energies, and 3 cards for your incoming energies. And again, I'll pull a card for your conscious energy on the table. That's the energy that you're aware of, that you're functioning under, that you're aware of. And then I'll pull one card from the bottom of the deck to give me an idea of what subconscious energies are active in your life that you may not be aware of because they're subconscious. All right, 3 cards for your recent past, Pisces. We have the 4 of Cups in the upright, flanked by Strength in the reverse, which is how we open the spread, by the way, and the Moon in the upright. Okay, in your current energies, we have Temperance reversed, King of Swords in the upright, and the Ace of Cups in the reverse. Incoming energies, we have Judgment, a crossroad, flanked by the 5 of Cups and flanked by the High Priestess in the reverse. Again, these are different decks. So when I get the same card, one zodiac sign to another, I always find that fascinating, actually. And in your conscious energy, the energy that you're aware of, on the table, we have the King of Wands in reverse. And from the bottom of the deck, in your subconscious energy, we have the Page of Cups in the reverse. Okay, Pisces, you're stuck. You are taking no action, and you're consciously aware that you're taking no action right now. And your subconscious concurs with that conscious decision because there may be an apology here. You may feel shy. You may feel there's an impulse to open up and a vulnerability there, but it's got some fear attached to it. Instead of being open-hearted, it is very tentative, very small. So you don't know what to do, and you don't know what to do about something that is a matter of the heart. And so you're taking no action. Smart. Okay, Pisces. Recent past, let's see why this situation came about. Well, we open the spread with the 8, with a major 8, the major 8, which is Strength, and it's in the reverse. So it's pretty clear, okay? Following that is the 4 of Cups in the upright, which is this fellow here going, meh. And the Moon. That's obscurity. That is literally, I can't see where I'm going. This looks like a temper tantrum. It may have been yours. I'm not going to say it is, but this looks like a temper tantrum, and then somebody doubled down on their temper tantrum. This guy here. Yeah, I did it, but what? But so what? Because your temper tantrum came out of wanting to keep the status quo, and now you don't know where you are. So that is a feeling of drifting after loss of balance and internal balance, particularly with regard to your I say temper tantrum because the Strength is associated with Leo and associated with fire. And all of the fire, all of the wand suit, the domain of the wand suit is your nervous system. So triggered followed by tantrum, and then emotional apathy. It could be that that you had a tantrum and the receiving party was not moved by it. That could be, or it could be that you had for some of you that will be, and for others of you it will be that you had a tantrum and then you doubled down on it, and now you're left in a situation where you're in the dark. You can't see where you're going. Which is why, again, going back to your conscious energy, you ain't going anywhere yet. But at least you're conscious enough and aware enough to go, okay, let's just stop before I make this situation worse. In the middle of the deck, Temperance in the reverse. This is the energy of two energies coming together to make something new. And it is very high regime in the way that people operate. So you're learning a lesson here, and you're learning a lesson about yourself. And ultimately, it's always ultimately about ourselves, but you may be doing it with another person, trying to blend the way that you function in the world, just unconsciously, the way that you unconsciously function in the world with someone else, and it isn't going very well. Attached to this is the King of Swords. So somebody's taken a hard line. These are the things that I absolutely need to have, and maybe making some cuts. And also attached to it is the Eight of Cups in the reverse. So, which essentially, if you're looking at my table, it practically touches this guy here. So this is that vulnerability. Should I say sorry? Did I do something wrong? AITA here, and not acting on it. All right, coming in with your future energies, we have Judgment. So, crossroads. You will not be able, our King of Wands here is not going to be able to hold off actually dealing with this forever. The crossroads is coming, and you are going to have to make a decision. Attached to that is the High Priestess in the reverse. So again, your intuition is not operating. It can be a situation where, are you stubborn? I'm going to clarify that. We'll see what's blocking your intuition there, because I think you need it. And you end out the whole spread with the Five of Cups in the upright. Given that you opened with a tantrum and that you're not sure how to apologize for it, again, roles could be reversed. This may be a story where you're on the receiving end of it rather than the active end of it. But given that that this is the crux of your story, it doesn't surprise me that you're disappointed, because even if you can become more temperate and get this blending back on, and get this heart space open up again, you're going to feel some regret, probably, for having the tantrum in the first place, for how you got here. Even if it is resolved, it looks like it was a rough ride. I'm going to pull 3 more cards. I want to see what is blocking our High Priestess. Okay, we have the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. Resources, lack of resources. And the Knight of Swords, a lot of mental activity. A lot of mental activity without any results. So you're working on it. She's working on it. It just, that intuition is, yeah. And then I literally got the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. So you're working on it, but you're not getting anywhere. Too much thinking, not enough feeling, I think. I think you blocked the feelings here. Yeah, you definitely blocked your emotions. So the advice on this for you, Pisces, which is strange because Pisces almost always operates completely on the feels, but I think you might be a little bit too much in your head and a little bit too much in your triggers, and that take a step back and let your heart open up. Then you can get your intuition back online. Remember that your instincts and your intuition are not the same thing, and they certainly are not the same thing as your logic. I don't see this situation being resolved through logic as much as I see that once you get your heart open a little bit more, you'll be able to start to think a little bit more clearly, because you're not pushing all that energy in the wrong direction. And then you will probably end up pairing a few things off. You're probably going to end up with a different configuration than the part that has been turned. But I think there's still a lot of opportunity for growth here, and I don't see a break. Not yet, anyway. And I don't get the feeling. For most of you, I don't think there's going to be a break. I think for most of you, there's going to be a recalibration and possibly an apology. So that's what I got for you. Hope this helped. And if you made it this far, like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.